One, two, three, let's go!
Panagdait sa tanan. In today's lesson, we'll be learning dehydration, sweating, thirst, overexertion, hyperthermia, and hypothermia. Starting with thirst, I'm confident that everyone has experienced this, but today we'll be talking about a different kind of thirst. There are times that our thirst is stronger than usual and will continue even after we drink a cup of liquid. During this episode, we'll experience blurred vision and fatigue. If you are having these experiences, maybe that is a symptom of dehydration, diabetes, heart, liver, kidney failure, and sepsis. Either of the four, but in this lesson, we'll be focusing more on dehydration. Please take the time to research about dehydration, just the basic definition for you to have an overview of what it is. But if you already know what is dehydration, you may continue watching the video. Now that you all know what is dehydration, here is the basic or the fundamental way of preventing dehydration. The first one is to drink fluid regularly throughout the day and to increase your water intake by eating water-rich foods such as tomatoes, orange, watermelons, and other forms of melons. So this is just a very basic way in order for us to avoid dehydration. For us to know if you are getting enough fluids, all you have to do is to check your urine. Check the color if it is light, the volume if it is high, and if it does not have a heavy smell. Take note that every organ, tissue, and cell in your body needs water. Water helps your body to maintain normal temperature, lubricate and cushion your joints, protect the brain and spinal cord, rid your body waste through perspiration, urination, and bowel movements. There are some instances where we need to take extra fluids, such as hot weather, engaging in vigorous activities, when we are having vomit, or having a fever. Always remember that if you fail to replenish the fluid you lose and fail to respond to your thirst by drinking fluids, you can become dehydrated. To avoid dehydration, make sure you drink enough water and other fluids. Replenish electrolytes lost through sweat with sports drinks or enhanced water. Take frequent breaks from hot environments or strenuous activities. Use a damp cloth to lower your body temperature and reduce sweating. Avoid drinking heavily caffeinated, alcoholic, and sugary beverages, especially when you're working out or exerting yourself. Let's proceed to overexertion. These types of injuries are usually caused by repetitive motion, such as typing, lifting heavy objects, or working in an awkward position. Overexertion can also be called as overtraining. Here are the causes of overexertion injuries. Sports and exercises. Basically, those who do not perform warm-ups before performing the activity. Motion control, video games, and hobbies like woodworking, building, and remodeling. The only way for us to avoid physical overexertion is to practice good posture. Because overexertion is fundamentally caused by awkward positions. Next, we have sweating. Sweating is a bodily function that helps regulate your body temperature, also called as perspiration. To make yourself comfortable and minimize sweating, here are some tips. You may pause the video and read each of them. You may pause the video now. Hyperthermia and hypothermia. Hypothermia happens when your body's temperature drops to dangerously low levels because of cool environment. Hyperthermia refers to several conditions that can occur when your body's heat regulation system can't handle the heat in your environment. To avoid confusion, hypothermia happens when our body cannot handle the cool environment. Hyperthermia, on the other hand, happens when we cannot handle the heat in the environment. Here are the preventive measures to avoid hypo and hyperthermia. When the weather is cold, we need to wear thick clothings, but if it is very hot, we need to wear clothings that can make us feel cool. Staying dry is also important, especially when the weather is very cold. And you also need to avoid swimming for a long period of time and make sure that you wear water repellent clothing in the rain. On the other hand, if the weather is too hot, avoid direct contact from the sun. Try to answer the following without looking at your notes. Define thirst, overexertion, hypo, and hyperthermia. You may pause the video. After defining them, you may play the video again. I will assume that you have your answer. Let's proceed to the second one. Give one preventive measure for each. You may pause the video now. I will assume that you now have your answer. If you are not able to answer the questions, do not worry because you may play the video again as long as you please. Just be sure to understand each of them before proceeding to our activity. Thank you class for listening today, and I do hope that you learned a lot. Goodbye and God bless.